Hi, my name's Sam and I'm a wine advisor from Kinross. We haven't really tried anything like this before. Given the current climate, we thought we'd try something a little bit new. So if you're looking for some information about Kinross, or you're looking for some information on some of our wines, or you've had our lockdown case delivered to your door, you're in the right spot. First, a little bit about Kinross. At Kinross, we represent our own wines and 5 other small boutique wineries in the Gibbston sub-region of Central Otago and within Central Otago itself. A few of these small boutique wineries I will be harvesting in the next couple of weeks. So from us at Kinross and on behalf of our wine partners, thank you for your continued support. Now, let's try some wines. Okay, time for our first wine. Now, our first wine is a Sauv Blanc. Sauv Blanc is New Zealand's flagship wine varietal, with over 70% of the grapes grown in this country being Sauv Blanc. Typically from the Marble region, which is north of the South Island, today we've chosen the Colpit 2019 Sauv Blanc. Colpit is situated in the Gibbston sub-region of Central Otago, very small in size, about 12 acres in size, and they're one of the country's smallest wineries with the winemaking facilities on site. They don't transport their grapes anywhere and have control over every minute detail in the winemaking process. The winemaker, Annika Wheeler, she's one of the country's youngest, and she's been making a real splash down here in Central Otago for a few years. Let's give it a try. So this has got about 1 gram of residual sugar, so it's definitely on the drier side. Looking at it, it's a very pale on the nose. Yeah, very crisp, very refreshing actually. I'm gonna give this a go. Lots of lemongrass coming through there, lots of lemon as well. This is quite citric. In fact, maybe on the back end there, maybe some grapefruits coming through. Very crisp. Lots of soft acidity surrounding the palate. To pair this up with some food, you'd probably be looking at something like a fatty salmon steak or a smoked salmon salad. What would happen is that acidity would cut through that fat straight away. If you're a vegetarian, a creamy risotto, something along those lines would be beautifully paired up with this. If you have any questions about Colpit or Sauv Blanc, please don't hesitate to get in contact. For our second wine varietal, we've chosen a Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris is a very aromatic cool climate wine varietal, and we've chosen the HAWKSHEAD 2019 Pinot Gris. HAWKSHEAD is owned and operated by Dennis Marshall, who is the Minister of Conservation in New Zealand for many years. When he retired to Central Otago, his wife Eureka was homesick, so she convinced him to plant some Riesling and some Pinot Gris. So we're very thankful for that, because if we didn't, we wouldn't have these fantastic examples. Let's give this a taste. So on the nose, this is incredibly floral, very light in style, roughly about 2 grams of sugar in this one as well, so it is on the drier side. It's very floral, it's very light, easygoing, lovely, smooth acidity. Also quite fruity actually, but you could mistake that fruitiness for sweetness. It's not, it's definitely on the drier side. To pair this up with food, we'll be looking at something very light and easy. So something like a quinoa salad with some broccolini. That would go beautiful on one of those long Otago summer's days. If you have any questions about Pinot Gris or HAWKSHEAD, get in touch. Okay, rosé time. So for our third wine, we've chosen the Domaine Thompson Surveyor Thompson Pinot Noir Rosé from 2019. This is Domaine Thompson's first rosé, and we're really excited about these results. Domaine Thompson is located in Lowburn, Central Otago. Out there, it's a lot drier, so it's a much harsher growing environment for the grapes. Wine tends to produce spicy characteristics, and this Pinot Noir Rosé is no exception. Domaine Thompson's vision is 1 grape, which is Pinot Noir, 1 method, which is biodynamics, and 2 hemispheres. They produce wine in Lowburn, Central Otago, and Burgundy, France, the spiritual home of the Pinot Noir. Let's give this a little taste. So, looking at the colour, it's a lot darker. It's kind of like a grapefruit flesh kind of colour. 2 to 3 grams of residual sugar, so it is on the drier side. Let's give it a little smell here. So, a lot of red currant, a lot of violet coming through there, with all those spices in there as well. On the palate, this is richly textured, and a lovely minerality coming through on this one as well. And compared to typical rosés, this has actually got a fair amount of punch to it as well. It's got a lot more body to it. Given that, we want to pair it up with something, I'd say spicy, something like Mexican tacos with some beans and some sour cream. It's going to go very well with the body on this Pinot Noir rosé. If you have any questions about Domaine Thompson, give us a call. Okay, time for our first Pinot Noir. And Pinot Noir is what we're famous for down here. This is the Kinross Kilted Pioneer WAITAKI block from 2018. Now, WAITAKI isn't Central Otago, it's North Otago. Still runs along that 45th parallel, so Pinot Noir will still get its lovely long ripening period and its cool nights. In WAITAKI, the terroir, or the growing environment for the grape, is slightly different. So they have limestone soil and influences from the ocean. So wine tends to display this salty minerality. This is our first release from WAITAKI, and we actually share that block with another wine producer. So we only produced about 90 cases, which translates to about 1,080 bottles. Let's give it a taste. So on the nose, it's very light, but I'm getting lots of berries come through, particularly strawberry. On the palate, very elegant, very smooth tannins, a little bit of soft acidity that's lingering on the tongue there as well. But ultimately a very, very rich mineral ride. Quite well balanced. To pair this up with some food, I'd be looking for something like a pan-fried gurnard or a tuna steak. If you're a vegetarian, something salty, so some feta or some halloumi would go beautifully with this. If you have any questions about Kinross or about WAITAKI, please don't hesitate to get in contact. Okay, time for our second Pinot Noir. We've chosen the VALLI BANNOCKBURN 2018 for our second. Now, Bannockburn is very similar to Lowburn, which I previously mentioned, where it's a lot drier out there, so the wines tend to produce a bit more spice. The soil's a bit different out there as well. It's more gravel, so when it rains, it drains pretty quickly, and the plant thinks it's being starved of water and goes into survival mode and produces a really big seed. That's where all those silky tannins come from in Bannockburn Pinot Noirs. Now, VALLI is owned and operated by Grant Taylor, and he is the world's most awarded Pinot Noir producer. His main 4 releases are the Gibson, Bannockburn, Bendigo, and WAITAKI releases, which are all individual blocks which he doesn't blend in any way. Let's give this a taste. This actually is my personal favourite, so if I sound a little bit biased, then this is because of that. On the nose, so lots of spices coming through on this one, along with a lot of darker fruits, so lots of plums and cherries. On the palate, yeah, these lovely, quite heavy tannins actually, lingering beautifully around the back of the palate. But yeah, plums, cherries, a little bit of smoke in there as well. To pair this up with some food, you want to be something pretty hefty, so like maybe some ribs or some pork belly. I think a caramelized sweet potato would go beautifully with it, but I actually had a eggplant pizza with it last night and it paired up fantastic. If you have any more questions about Bannockburn or about VALLI, please don't hesitate to get in contact. For our final wine and our final Pinot Noir, we've chosen something very special. This is the Wild Irishman Kinross Gibson Block 2018. The Wild Irishman is owned by Alan Brady, and he's known as the godfather and the pioneer of Central Otago, planting the first vines here in 1981. He normally has 2 releases, the McCushla and the 3 Colleens. In 2018, unfortunately, a very hungry deer got through the nets in the 3 Colleens block and ate the majority of the fruit. So no fruit, no wine, but a very big barbecue. To solve this problem, us at Kinross gave him some of our grapes from our Gibson block, and the Wild Irishman Kinross was born. Let's give this a try. So on the nose, I'm getting raspberry jam come through there with a bit of dark cherry. On the palate, yeah, that cherry's coming through there again actually, so it's very elegant. Sorry, there's a bright acidity and very smooth tannins on this. to pair this up with some food, something like a roasted chicken with thyme or a very creamy carbonara, and you can have that with bacon or zucchini, and that'll complement this very well. If you have any questions about the Wild Irishman or about the Gibson block, please don't hesitate to get in contact. That was it, folks. Thank you for staying tuned. Those 6 wines make up our lockdown case in light of what's going on with the climate in the world today. So for a case of 6, it's $280. For a case of 12, it's $560. Delivery in New Zealand is complimentary. Also, to give something back to the community, with every bottle purchased, we will be donating $2 to the food bank, just to show our support for the community. If you'd like to order, you can go to www.kinross.nz, or you can email wine@kinross.nz if you have any inquiries. One final note, this whole video was shot and produced in my back garden, so I haven't broken any lockdown protocols. So for future videos, once the lockdown has ended, we will be shooting in some more glamorous locations. Again, if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to get in contact.